עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכיה מאושר תרחיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום.
Shalom. Our Torah portion for this week is Vayakhel. It can be found in chapter 35, beginning with verse 1 of the book of Exodus. We read, Moses then convoked the whole Israelite community and said to them, "These are the things that the Eternal has commanded you to do. On 6 days work may be done, but on the seventh day you shall have a Sabbath of complete rest, holy to the Lord. Whoever does any work on it shall be put to death. You shall kindle no fire throughout your settlements on the Sabbath day." Now, Vayakhel has something in common with the last few weekly portions, in that it deals in the main with the design and the construction of the Mishkan, the tabernacle, that portable place of worship that accompanied our people during our 40 years in the wilderness. But what makes this portion stand out from those other portions that deal with the Mishkan is this, that it opens with a reiteration of the laws concerning the Sabbath. We're told we're not supposed to work on the Sabbath. We're not supposed to even light any fires, we're told specifically. What does the Sabbath have to do with the Mishkan? That's the question that many ancient and modern commentators have asked. Simply put, it's this. We Jews are commanded to sanctify spaces in our physical environment. We are to dedicate certain places for a holy purpose. The synagogue, for one, is a place that we sanctify as a meeting place between us and God. Certainly we can encounter God in many places, but we come into the synagogue with that expectation that something might happen here. We might encounter God. And so we enter with a certain spirit. We also have that feeling when we enter a religious school, a rabbinical school, and we should also have it when we enter our own private homes. We should kiss the mezuzah, and we should recognize that each home that we have, that a person's home is a mikdash me'at, a miniature sanctuary. But that's not enough. It's not enough just to sanctify our physical space. In order to have a more complete relationship with God, we must also sanctify time. And we do that by observing the many holidays in the Jewish calendar. And specifically, we are commanded to sanctify the Sabbath, that seventh day, every week, to sanctify the Sabbath, making that time, setting that time out for a holy purpose. I remember a number of years ago when all of this modern technology that we employ today was coming on the scene. We were promised two things. We were promised that our productivity would rise, and we were also promised that there would be more leisure. There would be more time for us to engage in enjoyable, fun activities. Only one of those promises came true, and that is productivity. Certainly, one person can accomplish what it took three people to accomplish 30 years ago. Certainly, we are much more productive. But instead of having more leisure, it seems that we are more pressed for time than ever before. Just as a computer can stay on the job 24/7, many of us are expected to be tethered to our workplaces 24/7. We carry instruments in our in our purses and on our belts, and we can get calls, and we can receive calls and emails and texts. Many of us have computers at home and fax machines at home, and instead of working less, we're working more and more all of the time. Now, the modern model of a person, the way people have come to be viewed, is the model of a computer. A computer doesn't have a soul. A computer doesn't need a day off. A computer has no soul, and therefore has no need for family, for friends, and for community. Abraham Joshua Heschel, the great 20th century philosopher, said, "We have fallen victims to the work of our hands. It is as if the forces we have conquered us. The Sabbath is the day on which we learn the act of surpassing civilization. On Shabbat, we live, as it were, independent of technical civilization." And he goes on to define Shabbat as a realm of time where the goal is not to have, but to be, not to own, but to give, not to control, but to share, not to subdue, but to live in accord. This Torah portion tells us that we are not to kindle fires in our settlements. Some commentators have said it's not the physical act of lighting fires that the Torah is talking about. The Torah is really telling us that on Shabbat we are not to kindle those fires of ambition and conflict and conquest, that we are to find that calm, peaceful, quiet place within us. And we do this when we light the candles on Friday night, and we turn off the television and turn off the cell phones, and we embrace our families. It is when we come to the synagogue on Shabbat and celebrate with our community, and perhaps study Torah a little bit, to reacquaint ourselves with our religious tradition, and to feel the presence of God in our lives. This is what Shabbat is about. This is the antidote to stress. This is the antidote to to making a human being into a machine. The Sabbath makes us more human. This week's Torah portion, as I read, tells us not to light these fires. It tells us to live in peace with ourselves. We are told that we will die, that the person will die who doesn't keep Shabbat. Now, we don't believe that literally, but we're also told in other places in Jewish tradition that the person who keeps the Sabbath gets an extra portion of soul on Friday night. Whatever that ingredient is, that neshama that makes us truly human, we get a little extra of that. We catch up with ourselves. We become reacquainted with ourselves. And that is the blessing of Shabbat. So here's my advice to you. You know, we have all sorts of gadgets, all sorts of machinery in our lives. On Shabbat, try and live a little more simply. You know, take your car keys and put them in a drawer someplace, and also your wallet. You don't have to go out and buy anything on Shabbat. You don't have to conduct business. Take your communication devices, your cell phones and the like, also put them alongside your car keys and your wallet. You know, whatever messages you're getting, you can get back to them on Saturday night. They're not that important. It's more important that you spend time with your family and your community. Take the remote control. If you gotta watch television on Shabbat, don't watch violent television. Don't watch political debates that get everyone stirred up. Find something calm to watch. rediscover Shabbat, or if you've never experienced Shabbat, discover it for the first time. Make for yourself a sanctuary of time and dwell in it for one day a week. Shabbat Shalom.